Yeah, so once again, good morning to you all. I hope you're doing well. So let's go straight into what we have for today. Okay, yeah, let's go straight into what we have for today. So today we're just going to be looking at the mobile app development. Okay, what is it all about, and what are the things that I actually need to, in order to actually be a mobile app developer and stuff like that. So let's just dive straight into the slide. Okay, okay, let me just make sure that I'm actually sharing the right screen. Okay, yes, exactly. Okay, so confirm you can see my screen. You can just do that on the chat, or you can just raise your hand if you can see my screen. So that helps me know that we are on the same track. Okay, good. Thank you very much, Zed. Okay, so once again, like I said, my name is Gage, and I'm actually a software developer in CodeHouse. CodeHouse is actually it's a tech company in Akwa Ibom State, Eket to be precise. And CodeCamp is actually powered by CodeHouse. So yes, I'm a software developer in CodeHouse, and that's just a summary of me. I don't really think I want to talk more about me in the class. Okay, so mobile app development, mobile application development. Okay, so what is it all about? Okay, what's mobile application development all about? Okay, it's just the process of creating software or application that run on a mobile device. Okay, that's just mobile application development. The process of creating software or application that run on a mobile device. Okay, so who is a mobile app developer? Okay, so an app developer is a computer software engineer, okay, / someone whose primary responsibilities include creating, testing, and programming applications for computers, mobile phones, and tablets. So as a mobile app developer, okay, your responsibilities include you create, test, program applications for what computers or mobile phones or tablets. And of course, mobile app developers typically work in teams, okay, and think of ideas and concepts either for the general public or for a specific customer need. So you can actually be a mobile app developer for not working for a company, but just for your own self, okay, and then you come up with your own products to solve either for the general public, okay, hey guys, just use this, or you want to actually solve, a specific need, okay. But typically, mobile app developers usually work in teams, typically, okay. So that's who a mobile app developer is. Okay, so moving on. So what are the job skills and requirements for app developers? So this is very important. This is very important. And of course, why am I actually introducing this now? So you get to know what some of the things that is required, okay, in the course of this training for the intermediates. Your schedule, okay, how your program is going to run is slightly different from how the beginner one is going to run. Okay, so but we'll talk about that much more later, not in this session. So what are some of the job skills and requirements for app developers? So let's pay attention. Firstly, analytical skills. You need to be able to recognize the needs of customers and create new applications that answer those needs. Recognizing the needs of what customers, very important. You need to have analytical skills as an app developer. Okay, so not someone should not figure it out for you. You need to be able to analyze things. You need to be able to analyze situations, analyze your environment, make some analytical deductions, so as to recognize what exactly does the customer need. So someone comes to you, okay, someone comes to you that I need an application, so I can order food. See, there are certain clients that may come to you and they don't have the whole picture. They're probably just in an idea phase. It's not as clear. So you need to be able to analyze so you recognize what that person needs. That's the client. Also, the customers, even if your client has bought a product, can you actually analyze and recognize what the user of that app will need? Okay, so you need to have analytical skills. Very what important, and of course, you have to create applications that answer those needs. Okay, so analytical skills, very important. The next is communication. You need to be able to clearly communicate ideas to coders, teammates, and management. Now, I'm going to give a very typical example. I was privileged to actually be part of a team just for support. And so the person who was actually developing the application, so there was an issue, there was a bug. So I was tasked to, just follow up. And I was like, hey, so the company asked me to reach out. This needs fixing. And he was like, okay, he's going to check out what the problem is. And I had already checked out what the issue was. So I was like, okay, you know what? Why don't we jump on a call and then let's work this out together. Okay, let me just throw in my ideas, and then so you get to see, since I've actually gone through the stuff. Okay. And he's like, no, don't worry, I'll do it myself. No, don't worry, I'll do it myself. So yeah, there's sometimes when it comes to communication, sometimes there's a lot of pushback between not just coders. Okay, probably we don't want to divulge how we wrote the code. We want to keep some certain stuff to ourselves. You know what? No. You need to be able to clearly communicate your idea. Now, you may have a very interesting idea of how a flow should be. Okay, how the application should probably look, and how it can solve. But if you cannot communicate it clearly, okay, you will have issues. So not just app developers, every software developer, in fact, everyone basically should be able to communicate. Do not expect that the person should understand your point of view. It is yours, not the person's. So you need to be able to communicate it clearly. Okay, and at the same time, so it's a two-way thing. It's a two-way thing. I also like to say that in as much as we need to communicate clearly. Secondly, you need to be able to receive people's ideas. Sometimes one of the issues we have is how we receive what people say. Maybe because we don't like the person, maybe or whatever. We already have this, funny enough, just like there are certain persons, in our circle of friends, that once the person wants to open his mouth to talk, you kind of like, oh, this person again, what this person wants to say. You like, probably what we call it see finish, right? You just do like, this one, what will he say? You understand? So sometimes we already develop this, this wall against someone who wants to communicate, probably because you do not like the person, or the person, maybe the person has a history of, giving bad ideas or whatever. But let's learn to be able to receive people's ideas, open up so as to receive it, so you can be objective enough. Okay. So communication is very key. Creativity, yes, inventing new ways of handling problems, and developing innovative applications. That's very, very key for app developers. Okay, very key. Invent new ways of handling problems. Don't just stick to the 2010 way. Okay, a typical example is finding. I actually I was privileged to go through I think late last year. Yes, late last year. A mobile app developer, he showed me the application that he's working on, and when I opened it, I was seeing a whole lot of find view by IDs, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, we are no longer in the age of find view by ID. For some of us who know what I'm talking about, that we're no longer at that age. You shouldn't find view by ID. It's not efficient enough. There are better ways to get the ID of a particular view. You want to use what happened to your view binding? What happened to data binding? Or probably what happened to using the extensions where you can just call the ID directly. So inventing new ways of handling problems and developing innovative applications. Okay, some of these things I'm saying may not require you being in a team. may require you also just on your own. How can I actually create a solution? Okay. Now, customer service, very important. So if you're dealing directly with clients and customers, have excellent customer service skills to answer questions and fix issues. Don't just, hey, this is not working. What do you mean it's not working? No, 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 no. You know, there's this thing they say customers are always right. Well, I don't really buy into it per se, but how I like to see it is you just need to calm down and listen first to a customer, not because they are always right, but you need to make them feel, you need to make them see how wrong they are without you having to be at loggerheads with them. Okay, because a customer is not always right. That's the truth. It's not always right. Okay, so it's just one thing we say to please them because we want them to get something from us. So having excellent customer service skills to answer questions and fix issues. Okay, so when someone has a question, yeah, it's possible that the question may seem or sound off to you. Okay, but it's a valid question. The person doesn't understand. That's why he or she's asking. Okay, and then in fixing of issues, I've met some developers who probably they write the code and then there's a bug fix. There's something that needs to be fixed, and then you reach out to them and like, but you guys didn't tell me it was working. One very common step, it was working when I tested, when I did it. Okay, it worked on your locale. You pushed to dev, you pushed to live site, and it's not working. It's cool. Did somebody go in and touch your code? Just because it worked on your locale when you implemented that feature does not mean that it may actually work when you compile the whole program, or probably when you push it to the live site, because of course have someone tested your app before. Like I don't know how many of you have built apps and someone tests it. If someone really tests your app, you'll be so shocked that the perfect code you wrote, you see issues in it. Because we don't, as coders, most times we don't really always have the whole picture. Okay. Sometimes when we think that when we fix one issue, maybe we just change one line of code, it's fine. No. Sometimes when you change a line of code, you need to first of all build that project, build it first before even running it, because one line may affect another line somewhere. So especially when it's your fault. So when you're dealing with clients and customers directly, have excellent customer service skills. Very important. Attention to detail. That's the next one. Next skill that you need to have as an app developer. Having all parts of the application working together for the application to function. You need to pay attention to detail. Okay, it could be a string resource that you need to extract because maybe you may need to translate it. It could be you need to extract a dimension resource. It could mean that you probably need to use instead of wrapping the content, because you're now thinking, okay, fine, I'm using an image view. If I wrap the content, how is it going to actually display on various screens? Should I actually probably just use a guideline? I don't know how many of you know about guidelines in your listen. You can actually create a guideline. It's kind of just the lines, left, right, give it a percentage, and then that picture stays within that guideline on whatever screen. So if you say a 20% from your left and 80% on your right, so for every screen to take up that 20 and 80%. So you need to pay attention to the little details. So should this be a wrap content, or should this just be a match constraints? So some little and tiny details you need to pay attention, because you need to have all parts of the application working together. Okay. So of course, if you have any questions, please just drop it as a chat, and then I'll check that out before we round up. Okay, and so let's go to the next thing. Problem solving skill, very, very important, very important. Okay, making decisions that move the project forward. Okay, don't be able to solve problems. Software developers, we solve problems. Okay, so as an app developer, you should have problem solving skills. So when you hit a roadblock, what do? You don't sit back. Take decisions that will keep you moving. Okay, problem solving skills, very important. And then teamwork. as part of a large team of developers, working well with others is very, very key. You need to be able to work as a team. It's not a competition. So if you're working with another Android developer, it's not a competition of who is best. No, the product it's the product that is what the focal point, not your ego, not your expertise, but the product, not making the person see that you're better than him. My lines of code. No, I don't name my variables that way, stuff like that. Sometimes we can actually have some little pride here and there. Okay, so some persons will tell you, I don't really like to talk too much. No, I'm not the introvert. I'm not the extrovert type. I'm introvert. No, I kind of like to just stay on my own. No. Look, when you're working with the team, you need to be able to come out of your shell. Because when you have issues, if you're an introvert and you have issues, then speak to yourself. Don't speak to somebody else. Speak to yourself. So it's when working with a team, try as much as possible to work well with others. Watch your temperament. Try to understand people's temperament also. Try to work, because the goal is delivering the product. Okay, so teamwork is very important. And I think the last one is technical skills. Okay, you need to be adept in computer languages and have good technical knowledge. Very important. This is one thing that's actually lacking in most developers because of how they start. Pick up a resource, learn Android development in 2 hours, and they give you a small notebook app. Of course, most times notebook application. You build it and I've started. I'm a mobile app developer. But do you know basic data structures? Do you know algorithms? Can you solve algorithms? Okay, do you understand how the Android architecture works? Do you understand how services, we'll talk about the components, do you have good technical knowledge of Android development? These questions you need to ask yourself. Okay, so if you don't have it, of course, you need to get it. That's why I said the beginner class, for some of us who have little, 3, 4, well, if you say you're intermediate, I'm not going to fight you for it. Like I said, I'll drop the prerequisites so you know if this is something you have. And if you do not have it, please switch to the beginner class. I'll be there in the beginner class to make sure that I bring people up in a way that when they come out, they can stamp their feet on the ground and look, I have gotten the basics. So how much do mobile app developers earn? Okay, so this is from TechPoint NG. So of course, dollar changing and the like. So of course, it's going to. So this is just to tease you guys a bit. I just wanted to tease you guys. So so this is from TechPoint NG, and you can see the percentage. You can see the percentage. Very, very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. You can see 50,000 to 100,000. We have like about 20% earning this low. I want to say this low, of course. Yes, this low. We have about 16% earning 100 to 150. We have about 19% earning 150 to 200,000. We have 20% earning 200,000 to 300. We have 16% earning 300,000 to 500,000. We have 4% earning 500K to 1 million naira. This I'm telling you is monthly. Okay, this is monthly. And then we have 5% that earns 1 million naira a month and above. Just 5. So look at how it's dwindling. Like look at how it reduced. It started from 20 to 16 to 19, took up to 20, and then dropped back to 16, and then look at 4 and look at 5. So this shows, and trust me, the difference here is knowledge level. How skilled are you? How experienced are you? So trust me. So if you want to be in the, let me not go too far. If you want to be in the 19%, why am I even saying the first 16%, which is 100K to 150, you need to be grounded. You need it. Not to even talk of the 200K, the 300. And trust me, let me tell you this. Yes, people earn 1 million and above a month. a month. I know persons. I can tell you, I can give you, if I will give you numbers, you ask. Yes, people earn this. But sometimes you see persons earning such amount of money and they tell you, I'm a software developer. And then you're like, oh, there's money inside tech. What some of them fail to tell you, which I like to frown at, is the process it took to even get to that point. Currently, the CEO of Codehouse, Engineer Nebet, some of you may have actually, if you're part of the tech talk, then you have. So he has the 30 years experience, 30. So when someone like that is now earning 1.5, 2 million naira a month, and he tells you that I'm a software developer, you're like, oh, more, there is money inside. And then the mistake we then make is we start out and we are expecting. I know someone who reached out to me. He started learning Android, I think about some months back. I think it's about 8 months now or so, or 9 months into learning, and he's like, that he has not gotten a very good job, that he just one or two few things, that he's depressed, that he thought there was money inside, blah, 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 but he's not getting jobs. And I'm like, you went in for the wrong reason. So it's either that, or you had your expectations so high. Why would somebody leave? When they check, of course, look at jobs, look at certain requirements, know this, 5 years experience, know this. And I asked them, if they bring you to even the least 100,000 naira job right now, a gig that will give you 100K a month, can you deliver that job? Will you have to be going to Google every time to copy a code and paste? Can you deliver? So sometimes we set ourselves up with high expectations. At least I've started now. I have 1 year experience. I should be earning. And then someone comes with a job and tells you, okay, I want you to implement this feature, and then we charge high. And then the person's like, no. And they say, no, how will I take such amount? Now, let me give you guys a personal experience. I've had to build an application for 100,000 naira only. Like I'm talking about full start to finish, deploy on Play Store. It's actually on Play Store now. Just me, 100,000 naira. Now, is it that I couldn't have charged more? I could have if I wanted to, but the experience is very important. It's not all about the money. You need to go for experience, because that is what people are looking out for. Someone asked a question during the orientation. I think it was in the product development track, and then he was like, how does he have to? Do we have any tips we can give him? So for him to be able to get jobs, because some of the jobs he's getting, they're asking for 3 years. Do we have any tips? And this is my tip: go and look for free internships. Go and look for free jobs that won't even pay you. Go there and get experience, because that is what they are looking for. You cannot, no matter how much I teach you now, it is what you apply that gives you the experience. It's when you start working on real life projects, when you hit bugs, okay, that will give you serious headache, and you have to drink paracetamol and shut down your laptop, open it again. When you go through that experience is what you need. So sometimes it may require you earning less, but to get that experience. So you can catapult yourself to a point where your experience speaks for you. Where when you talk, okay, I would want to ask, how many of us have deployed an application on Play Store? Just raise your hand on the chat. Or just raise your hand. If you have deployed an application on Play Store by yourself, raise your hand. Okay, so we just have one person. So, okay, 2. So the rest, you see, there's a lot of things that needs to be done. So build your experience. You can earn these, that's the truth. But it is what you know and what you can handle. I like to tell people, look, opportunities are everywhere. But when the opportunities meet you, are you ready? Do you have the capacity for that opportunity? So that's very, very important. Okay, very important. So I'm going to conclude with this. Okay, passion is good, but commitment is best. Why am I saying this? A lot of us are passionate about something, and of course, when you're passionate, you should be committed. But we've seen in some cases that has not really been the case, because a lot of maybe emotional stuff, things happening around, and maybe countries have been difficult, whatever reason. Okay, passion is good. It's good to have passion for something, but if you are not committed, no, 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 you will not be. So what am I trying? That's why you see you guys were given a task on grades. Very important. You need to have a dedication, a die-hard dedication to want to push through. You need to be committed. Okay, that commitment is what makes you wake up by 7 a.m. to probably do what you have to do so you can prepare for a class. That commitment is what makes you sleep probably by 11 p.m. because you want to finish up a tutorial. You want to implement a feature just to test it, just to build it yourself. Okay, that commitment is what helps. It's what determines, some of the decisions we make in our growth process. So passion is good, very good. It's good to be passionate. Okay, but when you're passionate is not backed up with commitment, then it's void. It's not interesting at all. Okay, so that's so this is where I'm going to round up. So this class was basically to just sensitize us. Of course, coding. From the next class, we're going straight into writing code. I'm not going to do much teaching. This is intermediate. I'm going to write code. Of course, you will learn some things definitely along the line. Okay, but we're going to be we're going to get our hands dirty from the next class. And like I said, there are certain things I won't teach because it is expected that you know it. So you just see them and of course I don't think I want to start explaining what view model is for anybody. But you just see it on the code and you're like, I don't think I would want to see questions like, please, what's this code doing? No, it's view model. Recycler view. What's this code doing? It's recycler view. You should. Recycler view, these stuff are stuff you learn at your beginner level, not in intermediate. In intermediate, we start dealing with tough stuff, okay? The stuff you don't do during the beginner level. So, okay, let me just respond to, okay, that's okay. So it said, I think my major issue with learning mobile development was using the right courses. The course I was using was outdated and fixing up my Gradle gave me very terrible issues. Yeah, apart from the courses, other challenges ranging to a stable laptop and mentors. Okay, I'm glad I've seen somewhere reliable I can learn. Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Claire. Yes, so right resources, that's actually true. Okay, one of the things I had to do before moving into mobile app development, I started out with machine learning. Okay, one of the things I had to do was I took time to work out the path from beginner down to advanced. What is the path? What am I following? Who am I following? I did that first. I did a lot of research. One thing I did not do was just go on YouTube and just learn Android app development in 2 hours. Boom, I click on it. Learn Android development in 1 hour. Learn Kotlin in 30 minutes. You see some of all those absurd stuff, okay? And no, I'm not playing down on them per se, but of course, come on. Yeah. How do you learn a programming language in 30 minutes? That means you need to, how that doesn't work for someone who is a total novice. Okay, if you already have knowledge in a particular language, okay, so you can actually learn another language, in a shorter time, because of course syntax and semantics is just what changed. Concepts algorithms and like still doesn't really change. It just differs on different platforms. So yeah, resources, the right courses to follow, the right ones to do. I had to work that out first before starting. It's very, very key. And it is from that path that I'm actually using. That's what I used to teach. And one of the things I do, I always update that path because of course, it's not like I want to actually be someone who trades. I love to write code. I haven't written code in a while, but that's actually changing from next week because I'm picking up a personal project. So of course, I need to keep myself, still on the whole software thing, development thing, and not just training. So I try as much as possible to update that path so that whoever comes, okay, whoever I'm opportune to, get to be with, it gets to have that. He said it was actually, yeah, well, some of all those courses, often on Udemy, they're nice courses, okay. And when you say outdated, well, it's still fine. It's just probably some few things that have changed, but the concepts still remain the same. They don't, not everything, but that's actually understandable. And yes, stable laptop, guys, very important. If you check the documentation, so one of the things, at least your laptop should be like 8 gig RAM, at least. And that 8 gig RAM, except you're using it for just Android development and nothing else. So I don't think, but personally, I would tell you, well, if you're using 8 gig RAM, do not try to use your emulator. You have to run your applications on your mobile, your your mobile phone, okay, your your actual device. You have to run that there, okay. So I would recommend at least a 12 gig. If you can do 12, I actually use 16, but of course I'm actually I'm upgrading that. Okay, I actually use 16. It doesn't really give me issues. I run like 2 emulators at the same time, and it's not slow. But I still want to upgrade. One of the things when you have good tools, work is easy when you have good tools. So yes, but do not deter because your laptop is probably not a 16 gig. Okay, I started with a 4 gig that when I want to run my code, I have to wait like 5 to 7 minutes, to just, where you want to build, not even build, run. There's time just to run, just maybe hello world or just hello world, just run it. Sometimes 4 minutes, 5 minutes. There are times when I make mistake there are times when I have to build first before running. So that's like double the time. It's very frustrating, trust me, very frustrating. But I started out that way. And that's like commitment, grit, die hard, dedication. Look, no matter what, this thing will not defeat me. You need to develop it. Why I'm saying is because you will hit roadblocks. In this course, you will hit, that's definitely, not just even after KodeCamp, you will hit roadblocks. But what would you do when you hit them? Would you give up? Okay, and but the beautiful thing about KodeCamp is we try as much as possible to develop a support system for learners. So once you guys are done, you'll be moved to the KodeCamp community where you can actually have assistance. Of course, when you get jobs, if you have issues, we'll help, help sort stuff out. Okay. So Clara is saying she has Windows operating system have issues with Gradle build. Well, I wouldn't really say it's a Windows thing. I wouldn't really say so. I actually make use of Windows. I actually love using Linux, the same Ubuntu, but I actually use Windows, and I wouldn't really say it's a Windows thing per se. But look, you see, Gradle is Gradle is one very funny thing that can really do a lot to you. So I think one of the classes will actually talk about Gradle to an extent, though I'm going to really talk about it a lot in the beginner to break it down. But we can also have that session where we'll really talk about Gradle, okay, and kind of go deep into it. Some of those lines, some of those places, there are some parts of your Gradle that you've never asked yourself, what does this do? There are some parts of Gradle that you've not asked yourself, what does this do? And you don't really know. you just add your dependency and you're off. You just add your recycler view dependency. You just probably add a library and then you're done. But there are other very key important stuff that you need. Okay, how many of you have built an application that has 2 modules, not more than 1 module? Nobody. So there's a lot to learn. There's a lot. So you need to understand Gradle very well. Okay, so so that's actually it for today. Now I'm going to drop a link on the channel. Okay, so it's going to be a link to one of the repositories we're going to be using for the class. So download, clone it. Of course, as I don't expect to explain how to do that to you guys. So clone that repo, set it up, run the application, okay, and see how that works, okay. And then in the next class, we're going to dive into the what we actually have for. So let me just give us a brief rundown of some of the things we're going to be looking at, okay, in this intermediate class. And one of the things we're going to really look into notifications. Okay, we're going to look into how to use maps. Very important. We're going to look at maps a lot. We're also going to look at animations. We're looking at animations, canvas, testing. Yes, testing. We're going to actually look into Android testing. We're going to look into dependency injection, okay, and of course some little login and logout stuff. So there's a lot packed up for you guys, okay, more advanced stuff that packed up for you guys, more than actually this. And then one of the things I'll try to do within some of our sessions, I'm going to bring you some some stuff about Android that may not be on the curriculum, okay, but are relevant to what we do, currently, okay. Probably we may just have a not part of the class, but just a separate session. We just talk about probably Jetpack Compose, or we just talk about just a niche, an aspect of the Android, just to keep us updated. So we're gonna have some of those sessions. It may not fall on our class days. Definitely not our class days. It may just, fall on another day, but just to keep us informed. Okay. So so I think that's actually that. Do I have any question? If you have a question, please, you can just raise your hand or probably just ask on the chats. Okay. So I guess we're all good. We're all good. Okay, Zed, go ahead.
Thank you very much. You made mention of something, being a beginner, and you also made mention of another. While making an app, do you go on Google and copy most of those codes out? So, being part of an intermediate programmer, does it mean you have to memorize the code?
Okay, no, it doesn't mean you have to memorize. Okay, but what it actually means is that, okay, let me give you a typical example. Do you need at this stage, at your intermediate stage, do you need to go to Google to find out how to get an ID of an element? Do you need to do that at this stage?
No, I don't.
You don't. Good. Did you memorize it?
No.
You did not. You understand? That stuff you don't memorize, that they just stay. You understand? They just stay. You've done it. That's the beautiful thing about experience. That's the beautiful thing about practice. They say practice makes perfect. We didn't memorize it, but you've done it over time, and then you just know it. Like, I don't want to believe that there's any intermediate person who needs to go to Google to actually create probably a very simple recycler view app. Just display a list and maybe make it clickable. You don't really need that. Now, but I'm not trying to say that you cannot go to Google to search for stuff. Trust me, developers, even advanced. Sometimes see Stack Overflow. someone said that if Stack Overflow were to crash, that you'll be surprised that which company did he call? Okay, I don't want to actually say that on the live class, but he said you actually be surprised that some companies and their so-called tough software guys will actually find issues because sometimes I've actually I don't know how many of us I've actually downloaded a course. Sorry, but I bought a course, a very renowned instructor, and she will tell you that you need to be able to search things because sometimes you can't store all this stuff in your head. But where I have a concern is, when you go, you search, you see a line of code, you copy and you paste without even knowing what it does. You just copy. This is how you do. You copy, paste. You just make some adjustment. Do you really know how you got to that place? So I'm not trying to downplay searching. Okay, you also do it. I do it too. So there's no big deal there. But the question is, what exactly are you going to Google for? Is this something that you should, by reason of your experience, by reason of your learning path, is this something that you should have picked up, along the way that probably you did not pick up or you did not, practice enough? That's why you have to be visiting, trying to Google search and everything. So it doesn't mean that in intermediate you will do that. But like I said, there are just certain things that if you're still Googling about, then you need to actually check. You need to really do a reality check on yourself and your learning path. Okay, so I hope that actually answers that question. So any other question? Okay, so in the absence of none, we're going to call it a day. So like I said, I'm going to drop a link to a repository on the Slack workspace. So do well to clone that on your machine. Okay, can actually, I don't tell you how to do that, but there are two ways you can actually do that. But whichever way, just get that working, build it, get it working on your mobile application, run it, and make sure you don't have any issues before we kickstart the class, because we're going to do, most of our classes are going to be live coding sessions. Okay, you can actually do as I do, but maybe if you want to just hold on till I'm done and then you implement it later, that's also fine. But it's going to be live coding sessions. Okay, so if you can actually do a hands-on with me at the same time, that's also going to be awesome. So get that done, and then also I'm going to put up the prerequisites that are needed for this, for being in the beginner track. So if it's something you're not cut out for, please, for your good, don't sabotage yourself. For your good, for your growth sake, if it's something you're not up for, just quickly switch to the beginners. The beginner, we're actually starting up the major stuff today. By 7 p.m. That's the class time. It's just some introduction with them. The previous time, I think that was on Monday. So if you would want to switch to the beginner, please send me a DM, okay, on Slack. Just send me a private message, and then I'll help you out with that transition. Okay, but in all, guys, you will, if you do not come out successful, it's you, because I will do my best. For someone, probably someone like Wadiki can actually tell you, okay, and some other persons who will join us later. Okay, I give it all out. I'm someone that by 11:30, 12 p.m., 12 a.m., 1 a.m., if I'm online and you chat me up, wait, I'm having these issues and I'm free. Okay, jump on the call. What's up? Let's see how we can fix it. So I'm intentional about your growth, but you also need to be intentional about yours too. Okay, so thank you guys very much. It was awesome having you on the call. I look forward to us actually, building building ourselves better and coming out much more better than we came in. Okay, so thank you very much, and I'll see you on the workspace. Have